I mean, that's the number one thing you need to do as a leader to support another leader. Because if you don't do that, you actually backstabbing the entire leadership.
It's like good ain't good enough, so you gotta be great, and I'ma do whatever it takes. Doing what I love for life, and I'll pay the price, and not stopping even if the shit kills me, even if it kills me.
Hi everyone, and welcome to MattGron's Scaling Up Journey. This is episode 49, and my name is MattGron, aka MattGron, but my real name is Mattias. And yes, on the other side, of course, we have the one and only Svea joining us this fabulous day. And you are just outside Stockholm, and I'm inside of Stockholm. And
the thunderstorm from Stockholm just moved here. So it was raining in Stockholm an hour ago, and now it's raining like crazy here. So thank you for sending it over.
Yes, and it's very interesting because you said moved over there, and it's exactly what you have done. You have established yourself on the Swedish soil.
Yes.
You are from Germany, and yeah.
What an intro! Yeah, so that's me. I'm Svea. The show is about me, if you didn't know. Yeah. No, actually.
Yes, I know. I've been pumping that in every intro for the last episodes, but I felt it became a little bit long this time because you interrupted me there with a thunderstorm. And it landed a little bit flat, maybe. But here we are.
I'll pick you up. I'm going to help you out here. And because this show here, our MattGron's Scaling Up Journey, is where entrepreneurship runs smack into reality. And it's already episode 49, almost 50. I can't believe it. Can you believe it? Almost like half of 100?
Yeah, exactly. And
crazy.
It has been a great mix now when you have been taking over the tagline and establishing a little bit more of a, how should I say, smiling face to the tagline.
Thank you. You're welcome. So, as every Monday, I ask you some questions because the show is, after all, about Mattias and his scaling up journey. And I have a colorful blend of questions. Again, last time I said sometimes there's a red line, sometimes there's not. I don't know if there's one today. Let's find out. I'm gonna start with my first question of today. So, you are running a company and you're a leader, and I guess it's not always this sunshine and happiness at the office. I guess there are obstacles and there are conflicts maybe between some people. What do you do to keep everyone motivated despite things like that?
So what I do?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good question. To keep everyone motivated, I think it's super important that you always, as a leader, communicate with a clear vision and where we are going. But something I also was thinking about when you elaborated about the topic there, I thought about during my how should I say, when I started a company and the first years, I always felt that it was my responsibility as a leader that everyone was very motivated and that it was fun working here. But over the years, I actually realized that that's not my role. I think it's super important actually that you have people that can lead themselves and motivate themselves, and it's also up to each person to make sure that we have fun together at iGoMoon. It's not a specific person that should be running the show, basically.
Yeah, I get that. And I feel the couple of times when I've been at the office, there has always been a good mood. And I feel it's a very, I don't know the word in English, but it's a very, fun office. And I feel like people are playing some jokes on each other or stuff like that. It's the impression that I had the couple of times I was there. So how was your everyday at the office? Like, I think, who was it? Is it Henrik or Frank? Some people are doing some practical jokes sometimes. Or Dennis. Who would you say is the person who does like jokes or like keeps the mood up there? Is there someone?
I think there is a handful of people that they are really good at spicing it up, and there is always a laugh around these guys, so that's fun.
Yeah.
And I think Henrik is probably most famous for having different pranks ready. So
okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, let's go over to the next question. And I would like to know, when you're promoting someone, what are some things that you consider before you do so?
So when I'm promoting someone, so the first thing I consider when I promote someone is that they are actually living our core values. Mm-hmm. So in like I don't know, the direct translation from Swedish is that we in Swedish you use a word which is kulturbärare, which is, if you translate it to English, it's like a culture carrier. Someone that is actually, carrier is a carrier of the culture. So I think that's super important, because it's very difficult to train values. And I mean, of course, it's also super important to understand if the person is a good fit for the role.
Yeah, I think you said that before also, when you're hiring new people from the start, that for you it's more important, first of all, that you're aligned on like the vision and the values and everything. And then if there's some practical things missing, these you can always learn, right? But I think it was similar to what you said sometime before. And do you have anything more to say to that question? Or I'm going to jump right over to the third one. We have a track here today.
That's good. No, I think the values and as I said, the culture, and then you need a good fit. And very often when you promote a person, it's really good if you can find it. How should I say? But yeah, of course. You said promote. I was mixing up the language a little bit, but I was more thinking about something I have done wrong during my years is actually, maybe I'm looking outside to find a person and recruit that person, and instead of actually promoting someone internally, because I think that's that's also very important, that because some specific roles, like of a, how should I say, roles where you are a leader, like a leadership role, it's good that someone has been with you for a while.
Yeah. So there's already some kind of trust, I think, is very important for some roles, like you said, for important roles like leaders. I can imagine that then it's good to have some from your own organization to start with.
Yeah.
And
yes.
Speaking of leaders, I have another question about leaders, which is a bit different from what I ask usually. But I would like to know, do you have any suggestions or opinions on how leaders can support other leaders? Could be in the same organization or outside the organization. Are there some ways that you guys can help each other out?
Yes, I think the most important one is that you actually support each other, you back up each other. I mean, if let's say if I as a leader say something, it's very important that the other leaders has the same point of view. So if they talk to someone else, it's very important that they, how should I say, they keep the line. Does that make sense? I think that's a huge mistake a lot of leaders do internally. It's so important that, let's say, in a room of leaders, it's always okay to not agree with each other. But when you go out there and talk to the others, then you must be united. You must keep the line.
Back.
Yeah, exactly. Have each other's back.
Yeah.
So that's the number one thing you need to do as a leader to support another leader. Yeah. Because if you don't do that, you actually backstabbing the entire leadership. And we spoke about a toxic culture or a toxic workplace in another episode, and I think what we are talking about here is actually an enabler for a toxic workplace.
Okay, so someone who is, like you said, like getting out of the group of the other leaders, but then not having their back, or maybe even disagreeing in front of other people, or I think I know what you mean. Is this only?
I mean, I don't think it's like parenting, right? Because kids, they learn if they could ask one of the parents one thing and they don't get it, and then they go to the other parent and then they get it. So what happened here now?
Yeah, true.
What are you teaching?
So your example is more, I think, within an organization, right? The different leaders within an organization. And if you look outside the organization, like other CEOs or business owners, I'm curious, is there like some kind of a network around you guys? Like, do you interact with each other and help each other? How does it look like on that end?
There is probably a lot of networks. So what do you mean, like a CEO network, or?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, something like that.
I'm not sure. I'm not part of a CEO network.
That maybe sounds a bit too official. But do you really have some contacts?
Yeah, but I think you're on something. Or I think it's super important that you have how should I say? You always need some kind of mastermind input, right? So I think that keeps every leader sane, basically. Yeah. That you have somewhere where you can maybe release some pressure.
I get that. Have a coffee, talk about that situation that maybe someone else was already going through. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Coffee. Oh, I make these amazing bridges today into the next question. Coffee. So how does work-life balance look for you? That's the question, the next one that I have. What does it mean to you? This is I think a term that has been popping up, I don't know, 5 years ago. It's a thing now, work-life balance. Everyone is talking about it. But what does it mean for you personally?
Yeah, it's true. It was the word popped up. I don't know when, but I feel there has been a trend using the word much more lately, the last years maybe. But I think when you ask the question and what it means for me, I think it's, as an entrepreneur, in one way there is much more on a, how should I say, life and death basis. There is periods when you basically you can't stop, which means you make a decision to actually overwork or maybe do things. Even if you are tired, the most sane thing might be stop and rest. But I think it's super important to have the awareness that you are drained.
Yeah.
you know, and actually realize or actually plan out when you should like rest and catch up. Because I mean, somewhere along the journey you actually need to, you know, stop, rest, recharge. So I think and that's my thoughts on that topic.
Yeah, it's not as if you were being an employee somewhere where you get like your 4 weeks of vacation, you take them and you can leave everything behind you, right? It's different when you own a company, and like you said, some situations pop up and you have to take care of them immediately, and maybe some things you cannot just to give someone else. I totally understand.
I mean, like there is no entrepreneurs starting a company with a goal to have a like I'm doing this to prioritize my work-life balance.
Yeah.
I mean it's not on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a choice that you make, and I think you know that from the start. You know there will be times where you cannot just take a deep breath and take a break, where you have to go through it. But yeah,
you maybe don't know it, but I'm one day you realize like, oh, I'm very tired, like, oh shit, but you can't stop. But to be honest, I think it's a super important topic because, you know, I have a lot of entrepreneurial friends that has burned out. And I mean, it's super serious. We can laugh about it, but I mean, recovering from a burnout is, I mean, you know, it's hard. I mean, some people, they never really recover.
Yeah.
And the stress levels, you are much more sensitive. You have headaches. I mean, the list is long. So it's really an important topic to talk about.
Yeah.
Also in a time when everyone wants to become an entrepreneur because it's the cool thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's the thing to do these days.
I think we've also touched about it in a couple of episodes actually, where you're also saying it's so important to also, you know, have a hobby, play a round of golf on the weekend, or your video game, you know, I'm just using your examples here, or whatever, read a book, go outside, ride your bike. Yeah, I think we will probably continue talking about this, but I also think it is an important aspect you shouldn't forget, that it's not only work, but in order to perform well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you want to perform well, you have to take your break. You cannot perform well 24/7, 365 days of a year if you don't rest in between. I think that's the takeaway here.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone has different needs, right? And we have different starting points, and like on a physical and emotional and like a mental level, we are humans, and we are different. So like my biggest takeaway on this topic is that you need to find your own limits. That the worst thing you can do here is actually copy someone else and, you know, think that, oh, I don't need to care about sleeping. I can work like day and night. And so remember where I started. I said self-awareness. Like you need to have the awareness. Okay, I'm not feeling so well, but now I really need to push. I really need to work here. So that means you are, the scale is not, you know, even. You are actually taking out from the account instead of putting something in there. So you can do that for a while. Yes, that's my last thing to say in this episode. If you don't have any more questions, I felt you were wrapping up.
I'm wrapping up because I think also the last question turned out very interesting. I like the conversation we had there. So I would say that's it for our Monday. You know, it's been random questions here and there, but I think it's kind of fun because you never know what you get each week, and then you never know which topic we're ending up talking about the most. So today was the last question. Then, as always,
Yep.
thank you for today, and thank you guys for watching. And remember, like, subscribe if you want to, if you like this and want to follow along this journey here. And see you in the next episode, Mattias.
Yes, thanks. See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.